no lives matter. This is a straight war, I'll be real with you. It's just war, we're at war. This isn't like, they say there's no friends at war. So I respect the guy, as you said, he's done well, all that good stuff, but we're fighting.
No, as of yet, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go get my head bashed in. Sparring is sparring, and we can see some sort of technicality being shown. Now, a lot of people are calling it fake. They're saying that it's set up.
Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight.
Anthony Joshua has openly called out Jake Paul's knockout sparring videos. He says the clips are misleading and make Jake look more dangerous than he really is. Joshua believes real sparring should be fair and hard for both fighters. He also says that once Jake steps into the real ring, the truth will be exposed. Even so, Joshua still shows respect and says Jake Paul deserves credit for stepping up.
As a boxer?
Yeah, definitely. He's always wanted to be a boxer. He's got a stand-up game. I respect him as a boxer.
Many boxing analysts agree with Joshua. They say Jake Paul's sparring videos only show selected knockout moments and hide everything else. According to critics, showing just highlights does not prove real skill. They believe Jake should release 3 or 4 full rounds so fans can judge properly. Analysts also point out that the fighter Jake knocked out was not a high-level heavyweight, making him easier to hit and control.
Videos, that I agree with that. If we're going to see that clip of you knocking this guy down, we want to see at least a full round. We want to see what you're actually doing. If you're going to show us knocking this guy down, show us more. Is his opponent any good? Okay, that's another very good question. His opponent may just be, and we couldn't really see much of him there. He didn't really throw a shot. His opponent might be a nobody. His opponent might be a guy who started box fit a few weeks ago. So that's a very good point. It's things like this we have to actually ask when we, boxers essentially putting up videos of them knocking people out. Who is this guy? You need to know that, because then that kind of qualifies that knockout or knockdown to be good or bad. Cheap shot.
Andrew Tate also shared his thoughts on Jake Paul's sparring. He believes the heavyweight fighters in these sessions are not giving their full effort. Tate explains that sparring is meant for learning, but in this case, the fighters are holding back. Since they are being paid by Jake Paul, their goal is to finish the session, not to seriously test him. This reduces the power, pressure, and realism of the sparring.
Everything wrong with the sport?
I think as a boxing purist, it's quite upsetting to watch, young fighters struggle to pay the bills and struggle in little shithole gyms around the country trying to get big money fights and going through the Olympics and going through the amateurs and not being able to pay their bills. And I understand how frustrating that can be. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. I don't think it's everything that's wrong with boxing. I think that anything that gets people to tune in to a boxing match is good for the sport.
One more comment that he said was, Jake's been sparring Frank Sanchez, Gareth Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight. So are they trying to knock Jake out? No. But are they giving him enough work for him to learn?
Boxing journalist Gareth A. Davies issued a strong warning to Jake Paul. He said Jake could run like a thief in the night once the fight becomes real. Davies reminded fans how dangerous heavyweight boxing can be and stressed that facing Anthony Joshua is on a completely different level. He believes the danger will become clear the moment the bell rings.
God, I watched him knock out Francis Ngannou inside 2 rounds.
Yeah.
How can that go 3 rounds with Jake Paul?
It's very hard to knock out somebody that just hasn't come to fight. It's somebody that's just trying to survive, and that's what I think will happen to Jake Paul.
Do you think he'll run?
I think he'll run like a thief in the night. Once he sees the size of Joshua, those little 10-ounce gloves that they're going to be wearing, he's going to be petrified, and his backside will fall out.
I went to the press conference in Miami for that a couple of weeks ago, and he was planning to motorboat AJ, and he thought differently of it when he was standing with him.
Good luck with that, mate.
No, AJ was, he'd have got motorboated out of there.
Listen, good luck with that, because if he starts out with AJ, puts his chin out and starts trying to goad him in, I think Anthony Joshua will definitely iron him out early.
Do you think he finishes his boxing career then?
Let's hope so.
If Jake Paul does something weird and wins, is that impossible?
Nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Highly unlikely, but not impossible.
If you'd been invited to fight Jake Paul for 25. I've heard it's 25 million. That's me behind the scenes. Other people have told me it's 60. Other people have told me it's more for Anthony Joshua. If you had been a current world champion and you'd been offered that fight with Jake Paul, would you have taken it?
100%.
So he had to take it.
He had to take it.
So you've got nothing against him taking it?
I've got nothing against him taking it, spending the money even. Still got nothing against that. My concern is for the health and safety of Jake Paul and the sport of boxing.
Because boxing will be pulled into the dock if something happens to Jake.
Jake Paul, however, tells a different story. He says his recent training camps have been extremely intense. In interviews, Jake revealed that sparring with top heavyweights has left him bruised and even injured his nose. While fans see knockout clips, analysts say those videos do not tell the full story of what really happens in the gym.
This has moved a couple millimeters to this camp. I'm not gonna lie, this sparring the heavyweights, my nose has a slight little something in there. A guy by the name of Frank Sanchez, he definitely cracked it a little bit. But yeah, man, it's bad. Wait, hold on. Look at that, dude. It's like Squidward, dog. But don't respect me for getting in there. Respect me when I beat his ass. I'm not just walking into a fight. I'm going to win. That's what's gonna shock the world. I will become the king of boxing.
Experts who reviewed the footage noticed something strange. Some sparring partners appeared to overreact to Jake's punches. In several moments, fighters moved toward the ropes after light shots. This made the clips look more dramatic than the actual exchanges. Critics believe this exaggeration creates a false sense of dominance.
Did it or something like that. Like, even if you, especially if you see a replay, sometimes it happens so fast. Like, if it's a replay, usually like, oh, there's a one, or like you get a reaction when someone gets hit. You're not like, oh, I wonder if. Like, if you're questioning it, then typically the fighter gave in or decided to kneel down or push himself out of the ring or wanted to get out of the fight. You can tell right away. Like, when I land a body shot on somebody or when I got hit by a body shot, you could tell. I don't know, you guys can make your own assessment, but to me, this is a little sketchy. To me, the person he was boxing, obviously.
Because of this, many commentators warn fans not to judge Jake Paul's readiness based on short highlight clips. While the videos look impressive, they may not reflect how Jake would perform against a real elite heavyweight. Fighting someone with Anthony Joshua's experience, power, and timing is a completely different challenge.
Very tough fight, and to anybody in the industry, Anthony Joshua is a world champion, a gold medalist. This is a big difference from, anybody else that, Jake's fought in the past. But, he's looking for these big challenges. He wants to fight the toughest guys. And I think with Anthony Joshua, he got exactly that. I mean, Anthony Joshua is a guy I would have never dreamed in a million years Jake would have fought him in his fifth year boxing in a fight situation like this. I thought he would have given it a little more time. But, this is an extremely difficult fight. Anthony Joshua is 6'6", 245 pounds, extremely dangerous, gold medalist, world champion, and I think this is a very, very difficult fight for Jake. So I wouldn't have made this fight. No.
What do you give it in terms of percentage wise? Like 60% AJ wins, 40% Jake Paul wins, or 50-50, 70-30? How do you give it?
Well, you got to go up when you go off the resumes. That's what I go off of. A lot of people will say potential, like oh, this could happen, this could happen. I only go off like who's beating who. So if you look at it on paper, it doesn't look like Jake has any chance on paper, but I think that's probably why he wanted to make this fight. And like I said, I'm not in the camp, so I don't know all the conversations that are going on in camp Jake Paul right now. But on paper, this looks like an extremely difficult fight. And any boxing experts, that I've talked to, whether it's former fighters or whoever, they don't give Jake any chance at all. I'm not saying he doesn't have any chance. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, everybody in the know-how as far as the boxing world, they're like, Jake has zero chance to win this fight. And, it is on paper, though. It does seem like it's early. And it does, seem like it's premature, in my opinion.
So what are you giving it then? A 90-10?
Like AJ's had, I don't know, I want to say 13.
Former trainer BJ Flores added another perspective. He said Jake Paul is no longer just trying to entertain people. His real goal is to prove he belongs in professional boxing. Unlike his earlier fights against celebrities or athletes from other sports, Jake is now choosing bigger and more skilled opponents. According to Flores, this shows real ambition and a serious desire to move beyond novelty fights.
Boxers his preparation for the Anthony Joshua fight, and let me tell you why. The names that he's got here are Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okolie. They're all professional heavyweights. They are all probably top 20 heavyweights in the world right now, which is fair enough for Jake to bring them in. But in terms of preparing for an opponent, Jared Anderson is too cat and mouse. His game isn't about pure power. It is not about boxing as a boxer puncher. He's very much an outboxer. Anthony Joshua is not going to do that. Frank Sanchez has his own kind of unique style, but I would still put him in that category as almost a plodding heavyweight. He's very, very slow. His hand speed's not quite there. Defensively, he's not that switched on. And Lawrence Okolie is very, very much a hit and grab style heavyweight. Seeing Okolie, his fights are a little bit boring. Some elements of his game are similar to Anthony Joshua. He's probably closest match, I would say, out of these guys. But the problem is with Okolie, he'll throw maybe 1 or 2 shots and then he will hold. When people throw shots back at him, he will hold. Anthony Joshua, he's never been the best at holding. He's never been the best in the clinch. His inside work's not quite there. The height and somewhat the weight would probably be quite the same for these guys, but in terms of actually replicating a boxing style, it would have been far, far better, in my opinion, getting somebody in like maybe a Tony Yoka. Even potentially drafting in Daniel Dubois if he's available, maybe even a Filip Hergovic. No, Richard Riakpor's just had a fight, but Riakpor, in my opinion, would have been a better pick than all of these guys. Yeah, that is why Jake Paul has chosen the wrong sparring partners, why this fight is going to be horrible for Jake. But I'll give him his respect. Fair play for bringing actual pro heavyweights in for sparring. Let me know in the comments, do you think these guys are good sparring partners? Think I'm wrong? Or do you agree with me? To improve Jake Paul's chances in the fight. Hit that follow button if you made it this far, and as always, I like a favourite, saving a share.
Lawrence gave him a black eye or something from what I heard, and the fight is not happening after those sparring sessions. It might be a lie or it might be true. I don't know. Just what I heard, so I wouldn't be surprised. If I was his advisor, talking about Jake Paul, I wouldn't take that fight, Stavern added. I mean, business-wise, it makes sense. The numbers are great and everything, but yeah, if I was like his brother Logan, I would tell him, don't take the fight. I'd rather see you win. Somebody send me the face-to-face. You could tell. Anthony's language showed he was not scared or whatever. In my point of view, this is going to be a disaster. That breaks my heart. I'm sorry. I am sorry to Bermain Sterveen that the educational system has failed you so greatly. I'm sorry to Bermain Sterveen that you are the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name right. I apologize to Bermain Sterveen that you are the heavyweight champion of the WBC, and I have never read your name until right here, right now. Now, I'm not looking to be a dick about it, but this is bad. This is very bad stuff. I heard somewhere not long ago, I don't know where. Well, Bermain, let's help retrace your steps. Where have you been recently? Did you hear it today? Did you hear it at the gym where you told us on the phone? I know you didn't read it somewhere. So, Bermain has information, but he doesn't know